everybody. Ms. Benarowitz here and
Mr. Warner.
And we are here today to give you an overview of what Legacy 2000 looks like at the senior year. So the big piece as far as what senior year is all about is that we are compressing everything into one semester versus what you experienced last year as a junior, which was essentially the same amount of meeting time but spread out over a whole year. And that can be a little bit of a shift and a process to go through. So remember when we gave you that video back in May about the career practicum and how you could start that career practicum in the summer? Hopefully you started. Some of you may have even finished, which is fantastic. But if you haven't, you want to get started on it as soon as possible, because how far along you are in your career practicum really determines what sort of October you have. October is typically a tough month in senior L2k for a variety of reasons. First off is it's the end of the quarter. So there's that possibility if you don't do well that you could be put on L2k probation. There's also college applications. You may not be aware, but the free Colorado application day is in the middle of October this year. And that's going to sneak up on you fast. In addition, many people are considering early application and early decision, and that date is typically the 1st or 2nd of November. So there's just a lot going on in October. And if you're also struggling to get your 25 hours completed, then that might add to a little bit of your stress. So definitely hearing this now in August. If you have not started your career practicum, please do so ASAP. And if you need help with that, please refer back to all the information we gave you last May, or reach out to either one of us and we can have a quick conference with you and help you and guide you through that process. But the big piece about senior year, which makes it different from other years, is it's really all about you and what you've learned, not only through the career practicum, but also through your whole entire L2k experience. It is the quintessential year of reflection. If you take a look at the last bullet on the slide there, you'll see, gosh, some items that sound like the pillars of L2k. Yeah, collaboration, effective communication, research, strong writing, precision, and poise, all that sense of professionalism, right? That's still a massive component of L2k, but the focus is more on what you've learned and how you've grown.
So over the course of that one semester, there will be 12 assignments. Definitely don't be fooled and continue to practice that pacing and that time management. While things will be spread out and there are work days built into the semester, there are things that overlap. You may be preparing a log while also preparing for the next seminar. You might be finishing up your reflection on the practicum and all kinds of things going on at once. You're doing this class, but also, of course, balancing all of your other classes. And some of you may be finishing up that practicum. But if you have finished, use that time management program you've learned over the last couple of years to really figure out where you need to push, where you need to work around all the other things that are going out there. Take a look at the right. You can see the gradebook categories that these things will go into. We just have two categories. So we have assignments and then the final speech. So the assignments are like the summative category that we see in most classes. That's 70%. So you'll have your 3 logs, 4 seminars, your 3 speeches, and then a final reflection that goes in there. And then that final senior speech goes into its own category at 30%. So as you are culminating your own L2k experience and your own high school experience, and then passing on that wisdom and knowledge to other students, that gets its own category. So there is a lot of weight placed on that one assignment.
Procrastination, it's not a typo, first off. It's a blend of the word procrastination and purposeful. And this was a term that was coined by Nick Dawson, one of our seniors from last year. And it's really about the idea of being purposeful in what may feel like procrastination, but it's really just a transferable skill of prioritizing your life and what you need to do. So as Mr. Warner just mentioned, you may be working on a log also while you're prepping for a seminar. Never mind, you're working on your AP Chem web assign. And oh yeah, don't forget that research paper for English that you're working on, right? So you have a lot of things going on. So it's being purposeful and planning out what you need to do. So if your log is going to be due on Friday, you don't necessarily need to start drafting it, say, that Monday, but you should be thinking about it. You should be conferencing with one of us and getting feedback, or talking with your peers in class and friends about how to kind of structure it and which one you should do. You need to be thinking about it. but then prioritizing what you need to do. The purpose of doing this is to make your life easier. So think about what's going to work for you, whether it's your phone and a calendar. Personally, I'm a big fan of the whiteboard. That helps me be purposeful in my assignments, and it takes away the feeling of being overwhelmed. So being purposeful in that prioritizing, and it may change procrastination to procrastination. So some of you guys might be wondering, what are these assignments really about? So you heard Mr. Warner talk about logs and seminars and speeches. And so we've given you a little bit more detail here. With the logs, you will be writing 3 L2k logs, but there are 4 topics for you to choose from. First off, the option, if you have not started your career practicum, would be a throwback log to freshman year. And you would need to follow all of those freshman year guidelines, which you guys will see on Schoology, and you will be scored with that freshman log rubric. And for some of you who are maybe like, well, is it a first semester freshman log or a second semester freshman log? It'd be the second semester where things are blended and you've color coded and those types of things. But that will enable you to pick a topic in the STEM related fields that you are interested in and go through and write your topic section, your personal connection, your further development, as well as completing an extension, right? And there's various documentation procedures you'll need to follow. The rest of your logs, you'll have a choice of 3 topics. So they will focus on you as a worker, which will be topic number 1, and what you've learned about yourself. And the other ones will be an issue or problem or a concept in your particular career practicum company or experience. And then the next one, log topic number 3, is about an issue, policy, procedure that you see in either your career practicum field, or if you have multiple fields of interest, we are open to allowing you to explore that issue, procedure, policy in a different field. You just need to touch base with that to get approval on that. And then as far as the seminars are a great example about the power of communication and how you guys have become polished over the course of your L2K experience. We will have 4 of them. You need to be a participant in at least 2 of them, all right? More information to come, but they are tied to mentor text, be it articles or videos. We will also film those, so if you are absent on that day or you're sick, that you are able to still be a part and do a seminar observer structure. In regard to speeches, you'll see some familiar things there in regard to timing. The 4 to 6 minute speech is a career practicum update, and the pop culture speech is a group speech where you are looking at your field of interest through the lens of pop culture. And then if you look at the second column there, the final reflection paper is where you reflect on not only your L2K experience over the past 4 years, but also how your senior speech went and what was your big takeaway. And speaking of that, the senior speech, it's all about how you've grown and your connections, right? It is presented to the other classes. We will talk a lot more about that. There will be a survey you will complete about your interest, who's presenting to a particular teacher or to a particular grade level. But you need to be very purposeful about that. If you are presenting your senior speech to freshmen, that will be a very different speech than if you were presenting to, say, juniors, right? The other piece about that assignment is scored by the teacher in that class you are presenting to. So it's a little different, all right? The other piece we want to remind you on is L2K had the shift not too long ago to APA formatting instead of MLA. We are going to be using APA formatting for APA 6, and we will give you lots of information about that and help you with that. But just a reminder, the Purdue Owls Online Writing Lab OWL is a fantastic resource for that. But that's a great example of attention to detail. So while Mr. Warner and I don't have those rulers to bust out for those 1-inch margins anymore, we do expect you to have proper APA formatting.
So how are we going to do this? Yeah, we're starting remotely. This is new for all of us. Ms. Benarowitz and I did not sign up to be online teachers for our career. We really enjoy being in the room, being with students, having that live interaction. And so this is not something we've aspired to. It's something we've been asked to do. So it's new for us also. We assume it's also new for you as students. Otherwise, you would have taken some sort of online option years ago as more and more online schools started. So yeah, we are starting remotely. I think the district is evaluating mid-September to kind of see if we stick with this model or if we're allowed to go back in some sort of hybrid, or if we are to be staying online the entire semester. So we don't know any more than you do at this point, and we're just going to kind of see how it goes. But yes, we are starting remotely. Here's a large slide with a lot of stuff on it. We encourage you to pause this and kind of read through these at your own pace and kind of figure some things out. As this is new for everybody, there's going to be all kinds of hiccups and challenges and fails along the way. But as people have been using Zoom and Google Meets for business for years, there's some kind of expectations and protocol that goes along with this idea of video conferencing. And so now we bring that down into our level. I wanted to pass that on to you. So you can see kind of the 7 pillars that we should be aware of when we're video conferencing. And then within each one, you can see more details there. And you'll see that a lot of these are the professionalism standards we've been talking with you about for the last 4 years in L2K anyway. Some of them are common sense, like things like, wear clothes. Just, you should probably do that. Not probably, you need to do that. So you take some time, read through these, you can see them at your own pace, but we understand that there may be hiccups along the way. And so a couple things we wanted to add just to kind of bridge that gap between theory and practice. We understand that life is going to happen. Dogs are going to bark, cats are going to jump on laps, birds are going to be chirping, phones are going to ring. That's okay. Things happen. Just respond professionally. It's probably not the time to, show and tell all the time. But if you need to step away, turn off your camera. If you need to have snacks, definitely mute the sound, that kind of stuff. If there is a need for a really long class period and we all need to be on screen for a while, we'll build in those breaks so that all of us can have that break, because this is a different type of endurance for you and for us. To be sitting in front of a screen for 5 to 6 hours a day is differently exhausting for both sides of this than just being in school normally. So we as adults get that, and we want to build that in to be supportive of you. If you're absent, definitely check the agenda, check Schoology. We will be linking the Google Calendar that we've created that shows that pacing. Get that into our Schoologies so you can see what's going on, whether it was a work day or a due date day or a setting up the next project day. But of course, the expectation is to see that information, catch up as quickly as possible, continue to be communicative with us in terms of, I missed something, what's going on. And then I think that second and fourth bullet are really related there. But just that, as always, if you have questions, reach out. Let us know what's on your mind. And so we've been brainstorming different ways where that can be happening. And so number one is the idea of, if we're using Zoom or Meets, those all have built-in chat features. So you can just chat with us right through that video conferencing program. Additionally, if you have your school Gmail up, then there is a chat feature built into that. So you don't need to craft an email and wait for that to be sent. On the left-hand side, you can see that chat feature and just send us a message through there, just like you would any sort of online tech help, whatever. That is a little bit more instantaneous. And so you can have that through your school Gmail as well.
Yeah, the big piece there, you guys, is don't wait for grades to go in and have that be, you're like, oh, it's fine. Oh, it's fine. You guys know how L2K works with the grade book. It's all summative. You have a limited amount of assignments. A single grade can make a profound difference, but don't be putting all of your hopes and dreams when it comes to a particular grade on, say, like the senior speech, when you could have been getting feedback and support more than kind of what we can just do remotely here, by you reaching out and sending us information and requests for help and getting the feedback that you need. So really be proactive versus reactive. So that may not seem that bad, which is great. And honestly, it's not. Senior year L2K is more about the juggling act and balancing things than it is necessarily about a really hard assignment in senior L2K. But you got to remember that even with the best of us, and the most organized of us. We still can get caught up in whatever's happening and get behind. So I want you to think about those senior speeches you guys saw last December when we were all together, and think about what resonated with you, what inspired you, what messages from those seniors about their L2K journey and senior L2K kind of still stick with you, and to kind of help kind of return you back to that moment and kind of get you in the right space going into senior L2K. We've provided a variety of bits of advice and reflections from previous years senior L2K. So not just last year, but even going back farther. So I think it's helpful for you guys to take a look and hear the voice of, you know, your colleagues and not just us.
So as you see some of those seniors' voices that have passed through the hallways before, really think about what they're saying and internalize that and figure out what advice you can pull from them. It's always good to see what people have been saying on the same path as you that just happen to be a little bit farther on that path. But we wanted to leave you with some final thoughts. A great quote from Maeve Riley from a couple of years ago: savor the last semester of L2K. You're at the top of the mountain, so don't forget to enjoy the view. Soon you'll be climbing down from the summit in the last 15 to 20 minutes of the last L2K speech, wondering where the time went. And I think we as adults feel the same thing, where you work so hard at anything you're doing and it feels momentous and never ending. And then you get there and it's over and you start to miss it. And you wonder, like, did I maximize what I could have gotten out of this opportunity? And my personal hope for anybody I'm teaching or coaching or raising as my children, the idea of leave it all out on the field. Whether you win or lose, get an A or a B or a B minus or whatever, that you can look at yourself at the end of any event and you can say, regardless of the outcome, I've done everything in my control to do the best I possibly could. And if you can say that, then I think that whole experience was a success. But you are now perfectly poised to springboard into reality, whether that's a gap year, a career, military, college, whatever you're going on to, you are going to be so well prepared that if you have put in 4 years of really hard focused work. And so this is the opportunity to really put the pinnacle on that and end that, but also to be reflective and ask yourself, did I leave it all on the field? And I think if you have, then that's a success.
Absolutely. And to us, you know, Mr. Warner and I look back and we remember you guys as freshmen, and it seems just yesterday. And the idea that you are approaching the end of your L2K journey is something that seems to have happened so quickly. But remember to be authentic, remember to be true, remember to believe in yourself, and understand that you have an amazing support network between your family, your friends, your L2K community, and us as teachers. And we are here for you. And yes, you will be successful. And yes, everything will be okay, regardless of what it looks like. All right, you guys, great job. Please let us know if you have any questions. And we are really looking forward to a fantastic senior L2k experience with you.
Thanks so much. We're excited to work with you.
Bye.